And Shnika, welcome to my channel. I just need to say, why, first, melanated black people, or just anybody, why do our aunts, uncles hide things from us? Like, for example, I'm just saying melanated people. I'm just saying this. It could be any other race, but melanated, indigenous, black people, whatever you go by. You know hoodoo, voodoo runs in the bloodline, the family line. You know that. Some of y'all know that. Some of y'all are so indoctrinated, they like Christianity, religion is the be all, say all. And that's fine if they believe that, because I was raised in the church background. But it's a spirit. It's a spirit. You know y'all be conjuring. Y'all be you practice hoodoo. And some of y'all practice hoodoo, voodoo, and keep it secret. People come to you. But you demonize it, and I think, a lot of people need to get back to their roots, especially black people. Get back to your roots. Some of y'all is naturally in you. Some of y'all, people may trigger you. You may have to read books or go to people to make you remember, or your ancestors come in your dreams. Mine, because I know it's natural in me, and I do have visits. Because the women in white, they come to me. They be by the water, by the river, and they be dancing. So I've got visits off and on in my dream state, or I have visions. So I'm like, okay, I think that's hoodoo. I be like, what? It's in my spirit. It's stuff is natural to me. I remember when I was young, I was probably like 5, 6, 4, and I had she would be called my great aunt. Luckily I blessed to be raised by my great grandmother, and I was fortunate enough to have my great grandma around. So I still have that old tradition. I still was raised up around that. These days, you ain't got it. I'm just saying you ain't got those people around, but does not mean they don't run through the blood of certain individuals. See, people get it fucked up. They think, okay, grandma this, grandma that. Some of y'all got it fucked up. Y'all think the cousin and the grandma. For example, okay, because I have things passed down that my grandma, great grandma, so on could have passed things down to me. Could be a cousin. Things could be passed down to her, and so on, up through the bloodline. Because one family member got gifts, whatever, spiritual inheritance, generational stuff, don't mean another family member don't have it or have it. I was raised in the house of my grandmothers. I saw things that other cousins and aunts and uncles wasn't privy to. Some of them may have seen it. I lived with great grandma and grandmother. Okay. Now, as I say again, I don't know why, at least the last generation or the handful of aunts and uncles or family members or whoever don't teach your family members or certain people things. You got people have to go outside of themselves, pay money, and that's okay. When you got family members that remember their traditions, because, excuse me, I forgot to say, when I'm about 4 or 5 years old, my great aunt was like, don't let nobody touch your hair. She used to braid my hair and burn it. She would always say, let nobody touch your hair. Don't let them get a hold of your hair. So when I got older, I bring it to her remembrance. She was like, yeah, you don't want people to touch your hair. She would say something like, if the birds get it, they can make you crazy. And she try to brush it off. That's what the old people used to say. She didn't want to talk about it. But it ran through her too. Whether she was tired, I'm just going to say it ran through her. Being older now, and I know things. Let me see who else. My great grandma Alice, she know things. I think she was something. I think I got some gifts from her. Another cousin got gifts to her. Because she was the grandma that came down a year and a half ago, 2024 last year, and I was living with that woman. She was the matriarch of the family. She came down in spirit and was talking to me. She said, use your eyes. And I'm a seer. She said, she told me, because she didn't like the woman I could feel her. She was like, that black imp, she didn't like what she saw. And on Earth, she was a Scorpio. So, that first dick is Scorpio and tropical. But I'm like, okay, grandma, like, they would come to me in my dreams. But let me go back to my aunt. Oh, yeah. And when I was little, they would always say roots. They would always say, so-and-so putting them roots and pass the food. And I'd be like, who? Get out of grown folks' business. And I would hear my aunts and grandma talk about, the women in the church would put roots in the pastor's food. But my grandma used to sit on the same choir as them. I would sit on the same choir. They would love me, give me candy. But my grandma, I believe them women were witches. And I don't mean to sound rude, because I consider myself as a witch, a priestess, or orc, or whatever. But there are some negative ones. There's some positive ones that are ones that walk light and dark. I consider myself walk light and dark. Balance with me. But my grandma could identify so put roots on somebody. She didn't. At that time, she would see the pastor throwing up, because we just lived beside the church. And she would say, and my aunts would say it too. And my grandma, which was her daughter. I'm like, how did they know they was putting, when I was to ask them, they'd be like, they wouldn't, So, and the thing is, having me sit on a choir with them women, because my grandma was a mother of a church. She knew. And my grandma could predict stuff. My great-grandma. I'm like, damn, shit happened? She say that? I'm like, grandma, the real deal. And I just see them spirits, them shadows. And they wouldn't come inside. I had to be outside the house. And that's why I was so crazy to sleep beside her, because I felt like she was a big mama, a protector. She would keep me safe. And my grandma, I see spirits. And when I live with my grandma, they'll be there. I see them because I'm going to see her. I go in her room, nothing will bother me. So I'm like, they got power within, and that power's been passed down. But my aunt, let me go back to her. She knows some stuff. And some of y'all need to teach these generations about their roots and stop denying it. Hoodoo, voodoo run through the family. Bye, y'all.